Allie,
Yes?
will you go to prom with me?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Amazing. You and your dirty pillows. I mean, oops, wrong movie. Okay, but anyways, hello everyone, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Spooky Chicks and Horror Flicks. We are two best friends that like to recap and dissect our favorite horror films while drinking our favorite beverages. My name is Emma, and as always, I am joined by the queen, Allie.
I am Ale. And we're both queens because we were also not prom queens, but homecoming queens.
That is a fun fact if I've ever fucking heard one.
Me
before.
too.
Yeah. If y'all want to see those photos, we can dig them up for you guys.
Oh shit. I think we might need to.
We might need to. Allie, what the hell have you been up to?
So many things. My mom just turned 71 and her birthday's on Earth Day, so we celebrated her Earth Day. And we love her. We went to Outback. It was great. And after this episode comes out, I will now be a different age.
Wow. And are you going to tell everybody what theme you're going to have for your birthday party?
Shrek.
Yes.
And I cannot wait.
You guys, I got an amazing t-shirt for her birthday party that says, "I can't today, I'm swamped." And it's a really cool Shrek shirt. Sorry, I just had to add that in there.
Get it? And
get it?
But what the fuck you been up to?
Well, the producer and I just got home from Stagecoach not too long ago, and we had an absolute blast. And now we are prepping for Texas Frightmare Weekend, Memorial Weekend, so end of May. If y'all are there or anywhere around this convention, please come and say hi to us. You might get a friendship bracelet out of it.
Just for context, I'm not sure why Emma keeps saying y'all. We're from San Diego.
Leave me alone.
I'm not going to leave you alone because I'm going to drag you to Buc-ee's. Should we do a Buc-ee's meetup?
Oh my God, we might have to.
Fuck yeah, let's take that shit down.
If any of you guys are interested in going to Texas Frightmare, you can get your tickets still at texasfrightmareweekend.com, and we are so excited to see y'all there.
It's going to be lit.
Allison, do you want to tell us what film we are reviewing today?
Oh my God, are we preparing for...
And then I'll stop.
Today we are reviewing the original Prom Night of 1980. And I'm not sure about you, but before watching this for the podcast, I had only seen the Britney Snow version from 2008.
And they're completely different.
They're so different.
I thought I was going to go into the 1981 thinking that it was the original of what the premise was in the Britney Snow version in 2008. Totally different. Very different storylines. But I kind of like them both equally.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because I don't. If you haven't seen Prom Night, this is your spoiler warning because we'll be recapping everything. So if you don't want us to ruin it for you, stop, go check it out, and then come back when you're ready to come on senior prom with us.
Yeah, girls and guys. At a high school senior prom, a masked killer stalks 4 teenagers who were responsible for the accidental death of a classmate 6 years previously. This film was filmed in late 1979 in Toronto, Canada, and had a budget of $1.5 million, which is not much these days. And despite mixed reviews, it did manage to bring in almost $15 million at the US box office and became Canada's highest grossing horror film of 1980, believe it or not. And over the years, it has earned a solid cult following with the help of Jamie Lee's performance and the widely popular movie soundtrack. This soundtrack was like banging, apparently, at the time. But a lot of critics talk about this film being a mashup of Carrie and Halloween. So a lot of people are like quick to call that out about it and are kind of like we don't know if we like it that much because it just feels kind of like a ripoff. And also Jamie Lee, very similar kind of storyline to Halloween.
I feel like it's a mashup of even more than that.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of inspo here.
This is like a Pinterest board of earlier films.
Absolutely. This film got a 5.3 out of 10 on IMDb, which I think I agree with. How do you feel?
Okay. The tomato meter says 45%, and the popcorn meter is 34%. And I'm like, well, shit.
But it does have that cult following. I feel like a lot of people don't like it, but I almost feel like it's more appreciated nowadays versus probably back then.
Sure. I agree with the popcorn meter. 34%.
Okay, got it.
And I watched the trailer, and the trailer was giving Saturday Night Fever so heavily. Like the whole movie is giving Saturday Night Fever.
It really is. Very heavy disco. I didn't watch the trailer, but now I'm kind of intrigued and sort of want to.
It's vibey.
Okay.
It's kind of misleading. Like, you kind of want to be at this prom. And their tagline is, if you're not back by midnight, you won't be coming home.
I don't know if that tells me anything about what this film really is about.
I feel like that could be for any movie.
That feels very Cinderella-y. You're going to turn into a pumpkin.
It could be for Elf, too.
You look like a pumpkin, bitch. Sorry.
Could be really for any movie.
It really could be. So getting into the director of this film, we have Paul Lynch, who did RoboCop.
Fuck yeah, he did.
For top billed cast, we kick things off with, I mean, I know we mentioned this legend already, but Miss Jamie Lee Curtis, who plays Kimberly Hammond.
We've said this plenty of times. This is our fucking scream queen.
She's just the best.
I would saw off my foot to meet Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh my gosh. Well, guess who has? Someone in this room has. And it's the producer.
Yeah, producers.
And he's flipping us off right now because
he's like, what up, bitches?
he will always have that on us. Well, maybe not always.
Not always.
Yeah. Okay.
And she did Prom Night 2 years after the OG Halloween, which, like we said, this drew inspiration from.
Yeah. Then we have Mr. Leslie Nielsen, who plays Mr. Hammond. And he's playing like the dad of Kimberly. And this is such an interesting role for him because I think this may be the one and only role I've seen him be serious in.
So I was talking to my brother and he said this is in the phase that he was trying to be serious.
Oh.
This was like his last ditch attempt to be a serious act. Not like he's not.
He just wanted more serious roles.
Yeah. But then we fucking get Airplane, Naked Gun, Scary Movie 3, Dracula, Dead and Loving It.
We have to do that on the pod.
God, I love that movie.
It's so good.
So he leaned into his comedy after this phase.
Next, we have Casey Stevens, who plays Nick McBride. He basically comes to date Kim in the film.
And then we have Anne Marie Benson, who plays Wendy. And she's also in Twister, which also has an extremely stacked cast. Go look it up.
Oh, I did not know she was in Twister.
Me either. I haven't watched it in like probably like 10 years.
Wow, I'm going to have to look that up.
IMDb told me. But fucking speaking of Twisters, what are you drinking today, Emma?
It's funny you say that because I am having a twisted tea, a half and half flavor, which is actually pretty good. It's not bad.
Ooh, I want to try it.
Yeah, it's not good. What are you drinking?
I am drinking my 3 standards, kind of. I have my White Claw, water from my big dumb cup, and a 4 Loko because prom, duh.
A 4 Loko, my goodness.
Throwback.
Wow.
Wait, actually, quick question. Did you ever drink at prom?
I don't think I drank at prom, but I drank a little bit after prom. I was actually such a little goody two-shoes, so I might have had like a sip of something at the after party. Did you?
Like, not once.
Oh my God, the producer's calling me a square right now. That's rude.
I'm more of a square. I didn't even drink at after parties.
He's calling us weenies.
I don't know, man.
Rude. I mean, I did not, but I did think that the punch looked good in this film. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Well, cheers. Let's cheers to prom season.
And my birthday.
And your birthday. And Mother's Day is coming up. This actually will have come out, I think, a couple days after Mother's Day. So hope you guys all had a great Mother's Day.
But cheers to all that shit.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
Bing. In an eerie, abandoned school.
Do we know it's a school?
Yes.
Oh. I definitely thought it was an insane asylum.
You know what? Same. Abandoned school, abandoned insane asylum. Kind of same.
Literally same. Got it. Sorry, continue.
So in this abandoned school, we have 4 children. There's Wendy, Jude, Kelly, and Nick. And they're playing around. They are exploring and playing in this like abandoned building. And they're kind of playing this like weird game and chanting the killer is coming. And it's like this twisted version almost of like hide and seek, I think.
It's also like the game like Murder. Like they're shouting things at each other like the killer is coming, the killer is coming. Latchkey kids.
Just different time.
Yeah.
Different time. And a few kids, including Alex, Kimberly, and Robin Hammond. So they're all brothers and sisters. They're like right outside of the school, but they can tell that they're like other kids like going and playing. And they're a little bit intrigued. Like they're like, oh, do we join?
I don't know if you caught this, but Alex and Robin are wearing similar shirts.
Yeah, I did catch that actually. Me and the producer were wondering because they're like black striped shirts. And I think the producer made a joke that he was wondering if this was like a mime school.
Okay. Cool. Thanks, producer.
Yeah. So I don't know, but maybe it's like a weird school outfit. I don't know. They're like black and white striped turtlenecks. It's like very unappealing.
So, and it's pretty vague.
I don't think it's ever like explicitly said, but we can probably deduce that Alex is twins with Robin because they're wearing the same thing.
Yeah.
Context clues, I guess.
Yes. As they're contemplating going in, Alex is just like, okay, let's just go in. Robin, it's not you they want. So let's just go in and play with them.
It's funny too because I almost feel like their group starts to kind of dwindle because Robin's a little bit intrigued and wants to go in, but Kim is like, oh, well, I left a textbook at school, at their actual school. So she's like, okay, I'm going to go and grab that. And then I think Alex says something too, like, I'm not going to go, like, and so he leaves as well because he doesn't want to engage with the kids.
Meanwhile, poor little Robin is still, they have this, there's this like very subtle but eerie title sequence where they just show prom night as Robin's entering the building. And bitch, trust that intuition. I can see it on your face. You don't really want to go in. Peer pressure is the thing. You don't have to conform to that.
Yeah. And then the kids just like, I mean, she kind of very eerily like starts walking around the building and she's kind of like looking around. And then, you know, she runs into the kids eventually and they're older a little bit, it seems. And they kind of turn sinister and start chasing her around the school and cornering her on one of the top levels. And they're still chanting that stupid, like, the killers are coming, the killers are coming. So scary.
Why the fuck are they so intense? I don't remember this from grade school.
No. So it's just so scary. And then in a panic, poor Robin, she backs against a window and falls to her death, essentially, because she's been almost like coaxed out this window from them, like screaming at her. And they're just chanting in her face. It's very, very, very creepy. Her body, her unfortunate little body lands in front of the building. And then right after that, I think we see like a window fall on her, right? And then like a shard of glass actually like goes through her throat.
How? Okay. I am not victim shaming. I am window shaming. Because how the fuck is this glass so paper thin that she's just able to fall through it and then somehow another piece of glass mysteriously cuts her as well?
I have the exact same questions as you. And it's pretty graphic. And I feel like nowadays we do not see children being, you know, killed.
Unalived.
And being unalived in films like they maybe did back then. So I was very like, whoa, okay, first scene right out of the gate, we're going to see a kid fall to their death and get stabbed with a shard of glass. Like it was definitely very like intense and sad. Little Robin, she just wanted to play a game.
She wanted to be included.
So sad.
Very sad.
And so after Robin falls through the window, like obviously the kids that were taunting her, I mean, they didn't mean for that to happen necessarily. They were just being a little bit too intense with their game. And so rather than confessing and telling the police like what happened and just being truthful and honest, the children like swear to secrecy. And at the same moment this is happening though, we see that someone like a mysterious observer is kind of like watching from the shadows and we don't have an idea like who it is. It's giving almost Black Christmas, you know, where you see like kind of the killer's point of view or like.
I get that vibe a lot throughout this film, but I'm just like mind boggled that one of the girls in the bully crew.
Yeah, it's Wendy.
Wendy, that fucking makes sense. Mm-hmm. That bitch.
She's like, we can't tell. We need to swear to secrecy.
These kids are what, like 10?
Yeah, literally, I think like 10 years old.
And how can you hold on to that for the rest of your life? And also, Wendy, bitch, what the fuck?
Not cool.
Let's call 911. Let's run to the next house over, call 911. Yeah. Get some help.
Totally. She could have been saved, maybe. We don't even know.
She wasn't even pushed.
Yeah.
She just fucking fell.
Exactly.
It's the school's fault.
You could have said it was an accident. That's true.
Yep.
Liability.
In an abandoned school that happens to be right off the freeway. How did nobody?
Yeah. How did they not see anything?
I don't know.
Oh my goodness. So cut to the evening and we are introduced to Mr. Hammond and he's checking the space out where his daughter fell from. He's just like hearing the cops like voice in his head and kind of having like this almost just like visceral moment. And he's hearing the cops in his head saying, you know, that she was likely the victim of a sexual attack and that they know who might have done it, which is sort of interesting because it's like, how could you deduce like you might know who did it? I don't know. It just seemed like kind of a loose connection to me.
Also, but how does any of this relate to a sexual attack?
Yeah. I'm like, where are you getting that from? But okay. So then Mrs. Hammond then shows up, and there are 2 other children, so Alex and Kim from earlier, and they're all just like mourning the loss of Robin, and all like very obviously and rightfully so very distressed.
This, like we said, the supposed twin Alex is upset, clearly upset, and I am a twin, so I would be freaked the fuck out.
Oh,
too.
totally. And we find out a little bit later in the film, but we find out that a known sex offender named Leonard Murch is blamed for the crime. He's institutionalized and blamed for this. So, like, essentially, we're thinking, like, all case closed, at least for now.
I want to know how they, like, what points to him?
We don't really get a lot of background on, like, why him, other than maybe it's just a small town. Maybe a lot of shit like this doesn't happen. And it's like, well, who's the most likely person that's going to do something crazy?
That is awful, like, trial.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Like, damn.
Yeah. So then 6 years later, Robin's death is still casting a very long shadow on her family, especially her sister Kim and her twin brother Alex. And they are all together and they're mourning the loss of Robin at her grave. It's like her 6-year anniversary of her death. Later on, they get home and Kim and Alex talk about who Alex should take to prom. So they're having a little bit more of a lighter conversation.
I thought this was like such a weird conversation to have, especially since they were just like mourning Robin.
Yeah, and then they're basically like, okay, so anyways, who are you going to prom with?
Who are you going to prom with tonight?
Tonight. Yeah.
Who waits till the day of prom
It's a great question.
to ask someone to prom?
So when Kim and Alex, when they finally get to school, their dad walks them in, and we're kind of starting to deduce that Mr. Hammond actually works at the school. We find out a little bit later that he is the principal, so it's not weird for him to be like walking into campus with them. And he says hi to the groundskeeper, Mr. Sykes. And the kids warn their dad in that moment. They're like, oh, Mr. Sykes is kind of weird. He looks at women too much. It's just like all kind of weird. And Mr. Hammond's like, no, guys, like he's just a normal dude. Leave him alone. But it's almost like setting up for us as the viewers to kind of think that there's something might be off with this guy.
Yeah, Kim is like, he peeps on girls in the locker room. And to be fair, he's like in this scene where we see Mr. Sykes, he's holding up like a headshot and just staring at them with his horn rimmed glasses. And
It looks a little
off.
bothered.
Yeah, a little off.
Yeah. Then we get a cut to like a strange scene of someone, we can't see their face, but we see someone like dialing a phone close up, and it's like a rotary dial or whatever, like old school. And the person calls Jude, and they have a super creepy voice, and they're like telling her like, oh, I'm going to see you at prom. It's actually, to me, giving Ghostface before Ghostface became a thing.
That's what I noted too, is it's like maybe that's some inspiration for Scream.
Maybe.
And maybe this film got it from Black Christmas.
Jude doesn't take this like call though at all like very seriously, which is kind of concerning. Like she's just like, oh, whatever.
And it's just like, bitch, maybe think more about what you just listened to. We also get a shot of the caller scratching off Jude's name on a list, and it's giving Billy Madison when Stu Buscemi is crossing off the people I want to kill.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah.
That's probably where they got it from.
Probably.
So Jude then starts walking to school, and she gets a van that pulls up right next to her. And at first I feel like as viewers we're like, what the fuck is this? But then we find it's just like one of her classmates, and he's like, hey, they call me Slick. And he's like, want to ride to school?
I think they're also setting us up to make him feel a little bit creepy.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
And to me, he looks like faux Jonah Hill / Elvis.
He does.
And he literally rolls up next to her in his serial killer van.
Yeah, it's a little scary.
But she's like, yeah, I'll take her ride to school.
Oh, she's into it. I think just 70s, 80s, just a different time, man.
No rules.
Yeah, definitely. Then the next person to get a strange call is Kelly. As she gets this call, she also gets surprised at the same time by her boyfriend, Drew. And she is telling him about this weird phone call, and she is a little bit concerned about it. He doesn't take it seriously and jokes that she probably liked it. And he, of course, is like turning it into like a sexual thing.
He's like, did that turn you on? Maybe I should try that. Ew, bro.
Why is that the first fucking place that your head goes when your girlfriend's telling you she got a creepy call?
Exactly. I will say, so now we're getting spread knowledge about the creepy caller. Why aren't people more concerned?
Yeah, just people ain't taking it seriously here.
So, question, does she look like she could be a principal with her pencil skirt and blouse.
She definitely gives a little bit of like a grown-up vibe.
Totally.
100%.
And her meanwhile, Drew's in like a camp counselor outfit, which I enjoy.
I love it.
I thought she was a mom, but her horny boyfriend is like, no, we're together. I don't know. Like, it didn't match up to me. And is it just me or does Kelly have a transatlantic accent? A little bit of one.
I can't. She might. I can't think of her talking that much, to be completely honest, but she might.
Probably because she doesn't talk that much.
Yeah. Nick is then the next to get a strange call, but his dad just lets it ring and he doesn't like pick it up, but he thinks that it's Wendy calling.
Also, all these kids look the same. Is that just me?
They do. They definitely do. I get Alex and Nick mixed up constantly.
Same here.
The brother and the boyfriend.
So
I'm like, oh my God.
I might slip up a little bit there.
That's okay.
As he thinks Wendy's calling and his dad is trying to get him out for school, he's like, for a guy so fast on the dance floor, you're the slowest. Like, ouch.
Yeah, that's a little intense,
That's
Dad.
painful.
But we're going to see his dance moves a little later.
Hell yeah, we are. As the phone is ringing, he's like, oh, it's just my phone, Dad. Let's go. Did kids have dedicated landlines back then? Like their own?
I think you could. I had one in the 90s.
Okay, that's
so
great that you guys had one in the 90s, but this is 1980.
I think they did.
Okay, fair enough.
Because I'm thinking of a couple other movies. Like I want to say that he had a dedicated phone line in Nightmare on Elm Street and maybe even Gremlins too.
You might be right.
Yeah, I'm just thinking. I'm just trying to think of those.
I can't keep track.
Yeah. One thing that we find out about Nick is that his dad is the lieutenant or like head detective or what have you in the town. And so later at Lieutenant McBride's office, he has a flashback of Robin's death as he reviews her file again. And we don't know like why he's reviewing her file out of nowhere. Maybe it is because it's like the 6th anniversary of the death. So he's like thinking about it. But he sees in his flashback that he's talking to Dr. Fairchild about Leonard Murch, the guy who got kind of like convicted for it back in the day. They talk about how, you know, he was a known sex offender and they believe that he killed Robin.
And we get a little bitty scene of him where he's like coming out of a car and he's disfigured on fire.
Yeah, I think they go into the background of it a little bit that like because he was blamed for this crime, like he just basically went insane and like tried to kill himself or something, I think. And so I don't know exactly how it all happened, but he ended up like kind of accidentally lighting himself on fire, I believe.
Just totally.
Yeah. And then he ended up being like in a hospital ever since.
This movie is all over the fucking place.
It really is.
But I get that they're trying to give us different options of who a killer could be.
Who the killer could be, 100%. Absolutely. Yeah. And then Dr. Fairchild in real time actually comes to the office as Lieutenant McBride alerts him that Murch escaped from the state mental hospital the night prior and that he took a nurse and her car with him. Then he gets a call while he's talking to Dr. Fairchild that they did unfortunately find the nurse and that she is deceased. Back with the students, we are with Wendy, grown-up Wendy, and she is the last one in this sequence to like get a phone call.
She also, just like everybody else, doesn't take it seriously. How does it at least one out of four does not take this seriously?
I feel like Kelly was the one who was the most creeped out by it, but yeah, no one helped take her concerns seriously. Like her boyfriend Drew was just like, "Oh, did you like that?"
And reminder that Wendy is the one that made the children swear 6 years ago that they would never say a thing. So
about Robin's death. Yeah.
About the death. So this bitch, okay. The caller says, "Wendy, do you still like to play games?" And she's like, "Oh, fuck off." And she rolls out of the house and gets into her bitchin' orange Corvette. She's also so mean to her mom when she's leaving the house. Be nice to your mom, ho.
I know. She's so mean. Is that her mom or is it her grandma?
She's a lady of the house of some sort.
A lady of the home.
So be nice to whoever that is. Be nice to everyone. And again, I'm just going to keep reiterating this. Who the fuck gets invited to prom the day of? Because they're like, she's like, I don't know who I'm going to prom with, blah, blah, blah.
That's wild to me. Yeah, it is kind of crazy that this is all happening in like one day. The prom invites situation. Very weird.
This film has lived 12 years in one day.
It has. It truly has. Then later at school, the place is buzzing with excitement for the Hamilton High senior prom set for that evening, which we mentioned is wild that it's happening.
And this is a vibe. all the high school gals are hippy dippy and happy and just like showing off their fashion and I'm going with so and so. I'm going with so and so, and just all like
the turn of a new decade, baby. Yeah. We're going disco and then going into the 80s.
Their feathered hair is just bouncing all over the fucking place.
Where is Farrah Fawcett when you need her?
Honestly.
So Kim, who is now a senior, she is pretty popular and she's prepping for the event with her friends. And her seemingly new beau, Nick, who was one of the kids present when Robin died, don't forget, and he did get the phone call, but he just didn't answer.
And he was previously dating Wendy.
Yeah, he was previously dating Wendy. There's like a lot going on here, but Nick is like her new man. However, in the same moment, Wendy comes up and freaking kisses him, and he claims that he told her that it was over between them.
I need a character map, like on Game of Thrones. When I was watching it, I had a character map.
Yes, there's a lot going on because a lot of them look the same.
And there's like how they were connected to each other.
Yep.
I just need a map.
We just need to know, like, what's the tree? What's the tree looking like? Then Jude, Kim, and Vicky are, walking down the hall at school, and they're getting harassed, like in a playful way, not in like a very serious way, but still kind of inappropriate, by a weird guy named Lou who has a unibrow, and he looks like he smells like cigarettes and beef sticks.
He literally has the weirdest unibrow, like the most evident unibrow I've ever seen.
I feel like they're trying to be like, oh, he's this attractive bad boy, but he is not attractive. I'm just going to say that right now.
If they wanted him to be attractive, they should have tried a lot harder.
Agreed. But just cast JT, John Travolta.
Honestly.
That would have solved all your issues. Anyway.
Seriously. But
then it really would have been Carrie, though.
That's true.
Yeah.
Or like Perfect. You guys go watch Perfect. Yeah. Or at least the scene of them dancing to Jazzercise on YouTube. You're welcome. It's a horny scene. But yeah, Lou is like, sup, ladies, I can help you.
It's just, he's just too much.
I
don't like him.
No. He also looks like he's greasy.
Yes, he looks so great. No, I truly like he just came out of an oil pan, like where they're making like
bacon.
Hot dogs on a stick and bacon.
Yeah.
Bacon wrapped hot dogs on a stick.
Wait, that sounds kind of good.
I know. I'm kind of hungry. Back with Lieutenant McBride, he and Dr. Fairchild show up at the old school where Robin died, and that is where they find the nurse's body. So it's kind of weird. It's like giving connection. The nurse was also killed in a very similar way to how Robin died, with a shard of glass. And now they know for sure that Leonard Murch is back in town, but they're just not exactly sure why yet. And they discuss keeping quiet about Leonard's comeback because with his disfigured look and everything, it would be kind of hard for him to move around town without being noticed. So they don't want to like alarm anyone.
I just don't understand. Knowing what we know, I want to know why this nurse was killed.
I think just probably collateral damage. He needed a vehicle and,
Sure.
maybe he needed a nurse to take care of some of his like burns or something. Like, who knows? But I do think she's just unfortunately collateral damage in this whole situation.
That's a bummer for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, but during this whole interaction, they're so casual about like, he's back in town. Let's not freak anybody out. I think we don't get much backstory on Leonard. And like, besides him being
a psychopath.
Well, yeah, being accused and then being lit on fire, which is traumatic.
That's very traumatic. We don't get a lot of backstory on him. I mean, we don't even see what he really looks like.
No.
At all.
And one of the cops during this whole interaction calls him a fruitcake. That's not chill.
Not chill, man.
Let's not do that. Yep.
Back at school, Kim wanders into the auditorium and she's alone, but she wanders in there and she like kind of sees it all like decorated for prom, and she's so stoked. She's really excited for the evening.
And I love that Kim is just like, fuck yeah. And she is dancing on this classic disco dance floor. Like, those ones that like light up and like Saturday Night Fever.
Hell yeah. I want one of those. I want my entire home to just be that.
I might have a seizure.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
But
maybe
like
just one room.
A small,
okay.
A room, a dedicated room. That's a plan. Let's do that. But I love how she's like, fuck yeah, this is amazing. And she starts dancing on that floor with no music and her bitchin' bell bottoms and boots. You go, girl. That's my vibe right now is bell bottoms and boots.
You go, girl.
Yeah, well, that too. Also, were proms held primarily in gyms back then? Because that definitely seems more cost effective, but all of mine were offsite.
So I think nowadays, especially in Southern California, like where we grew up, they're all usually in like offsite areas. But pretty much every prom that you're going to see, most proms in film, I feel like is held in some kind of like auditorium or like a gym.
So like modern films might be offsite, but like older films.
Maybe. Yeah. The prom night film we were talking about earlier with Brittany Snow, the one from 2008, I will never forget that one was at a hotel.
I will never forget that either. At the exact...
What hotel was it?
Oh my God. Wait, what?
Okay, fun fact. The producer just told us that he actually had his prom at the place where they filmed Prom Night in 2008 with Brittany Snow. Did you go with Brittany Snow? He wishes.
Did you kill anybody?
Sorry, he's just got me.
He just killed the dance floor. Not
amazing.
That's the best answer.
And my liver.
And your liver. Oh, because he's not a square like we are.
I can say though for sure, okay, this is actually a cute little fun fact. So my dad is a musician. He plays classic rock lead guitar for most of the bands he's been in his entire life. And he performed at his prom. So I asked him one time about if he ever went to prom, and he said, I didn't go to prom. I was the prom. And I saw photos of him, and he just wore a t-shirt and some bell bottoms with his long ass hair.
I would expect nothing
less.
Yes.
Nothing less. So, and it was in a school auditorium or like a gym of some sort. So
That sounds...
I'll have to show you a pic. I've got a pic somewhere.
All right, listeners, sound off where your most fun prom location was, because I'm pretty sure Emma's dad beats us all.
While Kim is dancing and having a little moment to herself, she is then interrupted by Wendy being a weirdo watching her. And Wendy exchanges some words with Kim, basically saying that no one is going to care about Kim after the prom, and that, Nick's not going to care about her either. But I love how Kim is totally unfazed by this. She is such a confident queen.
Mm-hmm. And Wendy has some lines here. She's like going off, trying to irk Kim. She says, Nick is king of prom, and you just happen to be the queen of prom. Question number 1. I have a lot of questions. How do they already know that they're king and queen? Isn't this like announced at the dance?
I thought the exact same thing. How do they know? And like, why is there so much prep for it?
I'll get into that. Don't worry. I used to plan our dances at my high school, so I'm like, this does not make sense to me. During this whole conversation between Kim and Wendy says, it's not about who you go with to the prom. It's who takes you home.
Okay, bitch.
Okay, but kind of a good line.
I mean, yeah, it kind of is. Then we cut to a scene of the quote unquote killer. And whoever this person is, we don't see their face still. They are ripping pictures out of a yearbook, and it's all of the kids who killed Robin.
And he's in his little lair. We get some little background.
Is he in a lair, or is he like in just like his apartment?
He's probably just in a room. But I qualify this as a lair.
As a lair, okay.
But I want to tell him and his parents, yearbooks are expensive. Maybe don't
rip them.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Nowadays, they're like probably upwards of $100.
Oh, if not more.
Mine was probably like $80 when I was in high school.
Oh, I think mine was $75 or something like that. Yeah.
And we older now, so.
I mean, what do you mean? We just graduated last year.
Totally, yeah. But we're also 21 at the same time because we can drink.
Exactly, yeah. Nothing illegal happening here.
Nope.
In the cafeteria, Lou comes back, Mr. Cigarettes and Grease and whatever, and he kind of like attacks Kim a little bit wearing a ski mask.
What do you mean kind of? He fully attacks her. There's like a full tuffle.
No, he does. He does.
Who lets a kid walk around in a ski mask at a high school?
It's very weird. It's very creepy. But how sweet is it that her brother jumps in, her brother Alex, to like break it up?
That's nice.
And then he gets in a little bit of a tussle with Lou.
Yeah, he gets in trouble.
He even gets into like an altercation with another kid who we are presuming is like Lou's friend. And then both of them are sent to the principal's office. And obviously the principal is Alex's dad. And as the boys are walking to the office, they pass by Nick and Wendy talking. And Nick is trying to break things off with Wendy once again, but she's just like not really listening.
Does part of you feel bad for Wendy, or just like give it up, girl?
Just give it up. He's already told you. He's like fully with Kim.
Yeah, but like this feels like it happened like 5 minutes. It was like
yeah, young love. It probably did.
Yeah, like a 5-minute decision. Like, oh no, I'm with her now. I'm not defending.
No, I mean, these are all valid points.
I'm just thinking.
Absolutely.
When they get to the principal's office, Mr. Hammond, he suspends Lou and tells him to get the fuck out. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to favor my son. He's not going to get suspended, but you are a little bitch.
I actually thought that was pretty like intense because at first they're like, let me guess, you're not going to get him in trouble because he's your son. He's like, damn right. And I was like, respect.
I respect that, honest. Yeah.
He's like, yes, I am going to play favorites. My son isn't going to get in trouble, which I kind of love.
I love the honesty.
Yeah. Back with Lieutenant McBride, he hears his inner monologue trying to figure out why Leonard Murch is wrapped up in this case. This film has a lot of inner monologue. It kind of confused me at first. Did that confuse you?
I think specifically him has...
Well, then Mr. Hammond in the very beginning, too, when he sees where his daughter fell.
So it's just the old white dudes.
Yeah, basically.
Cool.
But he's like asking himself, he's like, could it be revenge? But why? He says to himself, he's like, I've got to get that bastard before he butchers someone else.
No shit, bro. But like maybe sniff in other directions because maybe you're not going to the right one.
Yeah, you're not really doing like a whole lot.
No. There could be other leads besides just maybe don't focus on this one particular lead. Spread out your wings and fly.
Yep. There you go.
So we see that Nick and Kim are walking along a cliff by school. And I'm like, okay, so we're in a romantic little seaside town, and this is giving a lover's point area.
Can I say one thing?
But
only because later in the film, when we see Slick's van again, he has Ohio plates.
Ohio has like lakes. Is Ohio
Does
with
it
like
have cliffs?
Oh, okay. Producer says
Does Lake Erie have bluffs?
Stop saying bluff.
Bluff.
Okay, so Nick and Kim are on this bluff.
I was like, say it.
Bluff. Wherever they are, in the United States. They're talking about how prom night happens to fall on Robin's day, and she's explaining her emotions to Nick, who's trying to like comfort her, but you can also tell he's like got something behind those eyes, like he wants to tell her something. And while they're on this beautiful bluff, they exchange I fucking love yous. Excuse me?
Hey, they're seniors, Allison. Things are serious.
I love yous on this romantic cliff after you've been dating for 2 seconds, potentially. And I'm like,
sounds like my kind of bluff.
Okay, wow. In front of the producer, you say that.
I said I love you to the producer on a bluff.
That's lovely.
He questioned it at first, and then he was like, probably.
I said I love you to Kevin in like a bathroom, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I love that.
Thanks. But still, I'm just questioning, Nick, my guy, aren't you still kind of with Wendy? There's this very gray area right here. While all this is happening, the I love yous and the cliffs and the bluffs, Nick starts having flashbacks about Robin's death, and he's about to tell Kim that he was partially responsible. He was definitely there for Robin's death, but he was partially responsible. And then the school bell rings, and Kim's like, I gotta bounce.
Saved by the bell.
Was he?
I mean, maybe. Yeah.
Just also having a lover's lane or lover's bluff right by high school. Good for them.
Yeah, I'm like, are we at UCSB? Like, why are we in this like beautiful campus with a gorgeous bluff? Anyways, enough about bluffs.
We gotta cap our bluffs.
Yeah. So now we're back with Wendy. And she takes Lou in her, bitchin' Corvette, like Allie called it earlier. And they go to a drive-in diner, like a Sonic type situation. And they discuss doing something at prom. Like they're trying to do something to like get back at like Nick and Kim because Wendy's so pissed about it. And Lou is just like along for the ride. And she says like, you can do something, but like don't hurt anyone. And then she makes a joke and she's like, well, just like not badly.
Also, this little drive-in like walk-up thing, like Sonic place is a vibe. The waitress in her little hot pants just rolling up to the car window and being like, what you want?
And doesn't Lou like hit on her? He's like, ooh, hey.
Kind of, but I also love how Lou is like, they're ordering and Lou is like, I'm kind of strapped on cash. I'm just not going to get anything. Then Wendy's like, I'm buying. And then he proceeds to order like 15 hamburgers and like 17 fries.
He's like, well, in that case, yeah, I'm gonna fuck you up right now.
I'd probably
do fries.
I'd probably do the same. Meanwhile, she just orders a Coke. Well, shit. Then back with Kim and Vicky at school after they've had their tennis practice. They're walking like out of the court and Vicky, they see the groundskeeper, Mr. Sykes, and Vicky decides to moon him. It's very weird. Who the fuck actually moons people?
I feel like mooning has died a little bit. I feel like it was definitely like a thing back in the day.
Was it?
Maybe when we were in high school.
Wow.
I don't know. I mean, I never mooned anyone.
Maybe
no one's ever going to see my moon.
We have moon tattoos.
Oh, shit. We do.
Yeah, we do.
But they're on our arms, not
Yes.
on our moons.
That's
You know what I
completely
mean?
correct, yes.
We don't have a moon on a moon. We have a moon on an arm.
Yes.
Okay.
Accurate.
Just to clear that up.
Yep.
But Vicky gets like kind of in trouble for this like act. And the PE teacher is like, Vicky, like, come here, blah, blah, blah.
But after she moons Mr. Sykes, they zoom in on his face. And it's like a non-subtle 80s shot. And his tongue is sticking out like a drunk cat. You know what I mean? Like when it's just like a little bit of tongue sticking out.
Like a drunk cat?
Or like a sleepy cat.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
I like drunk cat better.
Yeah. It's like he likes it. He's like,
okay, don't do that. But creepy of Mr. Sykes, but this girl's equally problematic.
yeah, she's like being a bitch and kind of like taunting him.
And
very rude.
Again, might I add, why is this the longest fucking prom day ever? They've gone to class. There's diners involved. There's tennis involved. There's mooning. What the fuck? It's like the never ending day.
I have another question too. Why is this prom not on a Saturday?
Okay, so I asked my parents and they said their proms were on Saturdays.
Really? Okay.
Yes. And they went to prom in like late 60s, early 70s,
Yeah.
I'm saying, I think. And theirs were on Saturdays. And I'm like, you need a full ass day to prepare.
Yeah, like our proms were on Saturdays. But again, if you think about movies, I think Carrie's prom was on like a Friday.
Oh, I don't remember.
Maybe we're digging into it a little bit too much. But
I agree. Like,
it's kind of weird.
it's super weird because girls, we take time.
We take time.
We got to put those hot rollers in. We got to get that makeup done. Shave those legs.
Yeah, we got to shave the legs. We got to feather the hair.
Mm-hmm.
We've got to practice our disco routine.
We need at least like 6 hours of prep time.
Yeah.
And that.
Yeah, agreed.
At least.
At the least. Then while changing in the locker room, Kim and Kelly, who are together now, they discover a shattered mirror. And its broken shards are kind of like symbolizing almost like a crack in their safety. It's like as they're like getting ready to like leave the locker room, they like hear the mirror breaking. And then that's when they discover it.
But before they do that, Kim and Kelly are in the shower and they're talking about sex. Because I'm pretty sure that Kelly is a virgin.
Oh, yeah. And her boyfriend, Drew, the one who was being weird about the creepy phone call that she got, he's like ready to do it.
He wants to do it.
He wants to do it right now.
And side note, I love that Kelly is wearing a fucking hair cap because this would have solved so many high school problems with PE.
Dude, why did I have a hair cap now?
I had never even thought about that in high school.
So the girls are clearly pretty freaked out by this and they're not knowing like how the mirror shattered. And so they go out into the parking lot to investigate, but they find no one.
And dude, Kim is just walking out with her shirt unbuttoned, her bra just out for everybody to see.
I know. She gives no shits.
Super normal, but also good for her for the confidence.
Yeah, good for her. Then when they get back into the locker room, they find a piece of the broken mirror missing, like a shard. And this is very similar to how Robin died. And this like glass shard, I think, is becoming a very through line in this whole film. And yeah, it's very symbolic to Robin's death and to kind of what is all transpiring right now.
100%. We see a lot more of hints of those. After the locker room, Kim is walking down the hall, sees Mr. Sykes like cleaning some shit or fixing some shit. And she literally fucking runs out because he's there. And raise your hand if you think that Mr. Sykes is being personally victimized by all of these mean girls.
I agree.
Thank you.
Yeah. He is personally victimized by the mean girls.
Yeah.
Later during prom court rehearsal, also kind of an interesting thing.
Oh my God, I have so many questions about this.
Very weird. Kim and Nick are practicing their onstage crowning as Wendy and Lou are watching from behind the curtains.
Okay, hear me out. So when I was doing homecoming, we practiced like the walking down. We did it at like our homecoming playoff game. I'm not sure. We practiced all the couples walking down before getting crowned or whatever.
I think I did that too.
But we didn't know who the fuck won.
Yeah, you didn't know who won until that night. It was like a total surprise.
They're also doing, so they both know that they're king and queen, and they're rehearsing some weird shit, and they're doing it the day of this very, very long high school day, prom day.
I feel like the reason why they're being crowned early is just because it truly works for like the plot line.
Sure. But I'm just counting the hours because Jamie Lee Curtis gotta, like, she was in the shower. She gotta go refeather? Refeather.
You were thinking a flock of birds connected
like
to a feather. Okay. After this like rehearsal and all of this stuff, we see Jude and she's going to her locker alone. When she opens it, she finds her own yearbook picture with a shard of mirror tape to it. Very creepy. And then Kelly walks up to her and shows her that she actually got the exact same thing in her locker, but they don't really make any connections or anything in this moment.
How the fuck would you not make any fucking connection?
It's crazy to me that they don't have any idea. It's giving like, I know what you did last summer.
100%.
Like at least those kids knew why they were being tormented. These girls are just like, it's like, come on guys, get a clue.
These kids maybe should know why
they should.
But
they should follow their, they should have some intuition.
Betches just like figure it out.
Back with Wendy at her house, she is on the phone with Lou and they're discussing like if everything is quote unquote all set.
I'm so confused by this dynamic because Wendy is pissed that Nick is going to prom with Kim, but she's basically kind of having phone sex with Lou in her room at this moment. Not like real phone sex, but like she's like unbuttoning her blouse and like, what am I wearing now?
I think it's also kind of classic manipulation. She was like excited that he's going to do her bidding,
For sure. But I'm like, pick a lane, girl. And then I kind of did some self-reflection and I was like, I had 2 boyfriends once in high school at the same time.
So you get it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Kim is getting ready and she's at her own house and she's getting ready for prom. So finally everybody's like done with school and they're like actually getting ready for the dance. And she's chatting with her mom a little bit and her mom it's so sad. Her mom seems very upset, likely because it's Robin's Day, but her mom is trying to still get ready and still show face because she has to come to the prom because her daughter, is going to be crowned prom queen. So she's still trying to kind of be present.
And her husband is principal.
Yeah, there's like a lot going on.
But she looks drugged up. Like she took a lorazepam.
Lorazepam. She might have.
She might have. After they bounce, Kim's brother actually comes to help her finalize her look. But this whole interaction, they seem kind of flirty. Is that just me?
I agree, but I'm also like, is that how teenage siblings are sometimes? I feel like
Ew, what?
I don't know. I just feel like teenage siblings either love each other or hate each other. And I think that they are maybe close. Maybe Robin's death like brought them closer together. I don't know. I'm an only child, so I can't really tell.
Does it need to be flirty? Okay.
No, I'm not saying the flirt. I'm saying I don't know if it was flirty or if it's just them being close.
All right. You guys tell us.
I don't know. So as Mr. and Mrs. Hammond leave the house, they're going a little earlier than Kim and Alex. And we see that someone is like watching them from the darkness get into their cars. While Kim and Alex are still getting ready, Nick then arrives and compliments Kim's beauty when he sees her and she's got her cute little like pink dress on. As he's there in the home, he sees a picture of Robin, when she's a little girl, obviously, on their mantle, and he kind of just like fixates on it a little bit. And even as they leave, he's still kind of like staring at this photo of young Robin, and you can see kind of like the guilt in his eyes.
He's definitely filled with like self-disdain.
Yeah, absolutely.
Question about the dress though.
Oh, yeah.
Without the like weird jacket on, it's giving Carrie.
Yes, it is. It's like pink, and you can
Satiny.
probably see her dirty pillows.
Yeah, her little nipples that are showing.
Then back with our girl Wendy. She's in a sparkly red number as Lou and 2 of his goons pick him up. And everybody's like drinking in the car. And she's just like a sparkly little, she kind of reminds me of like, Roxanne, you don't have to wear that dress tonight.
Huh.
You know that song?
I do know that song. Okay,
Anyways.
well, I wrote down that she looks like a hooker, so.
Okay, same.
Yeah.
Roxanne was a hooker.
Yeah.
So
Oh, wow.
there you go.
I guess I didn't know that. But yeah, they all be like in the car and way to pick up your date and have 2 bros in the back seat.
I love how he's like, well, what? They needed a ride.
And Unibrow, Lou, is drinking Jack Daniels as he drives all of them. He also rolls over a bunch of trash cans in his car You gotta be more discreet, man, if you're drinking and driving. But like, also don't don't drink and drive.
Maybe don't from the get-go.
Yeah, please.
That's 70s, early 80s, different time.
And his car is sort of elitely shitty in a vibey way.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's like someone may have it now and think it's like a very cool car. But back then it was probably like, oh, this is a piece of shit.
Yeah. But now I want it.
And then in a creepy juxtaposition, did you like that?
That was so crisp.
We see the killer's point of view looking in the dark school halls, and the killer's like alone, just like kind of going through the halls, like while everyone's in the auditorium or like gym or whatever for prom. We're in his point of view. He's going like up and down the stairs. He's just like kind of checking out like the campus, and it's all dark and like there's no one around. So we're just like, shit, okay, we know he's there. He's at prom. Now, guys, we are getting into the prom, and it is a dazzling disco dream. We've got mirror balls, glam, disco music. Everybody is just having a fucking ball.
Honestly, I wish I could have had a prom like this because the kids are all vibing. I would kill for this kind of prom or dance in general or club that can recreate this for me. Like, all we had at my prom was grinding and balloon arches.
I mean, arguably some people's dream.
Which one?
Both.
Okay. And apparently their theme was disco madness, and they must have had an epic budget because this looks like a full-on disco club.
Yeah. I actually love that it's like disco madness. I'm like, because it kind of is.
And I love how everyone is dressed up. And where did classy prom go? I was talking to my brother David about this, and how at our proms, all the athlete bros would just take off their shirts and jackets and just wear that weird silky vest and dance in that. Do you remember that? Was that?
Yes. No.
Okay.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I do.
Great. Not unique to my school. That's perfect.
We had pretty classy dresses though for prom.
Okay. The girls had good dresses, but the bros just like broed.
I mean, I feel like they wore their tux until it got to a certain point.
Until everybody started sweating and gyrating.
Yeah. Gyrating. Ooh, yeah. So Kim, her friends, and their dates like all arrive, and you know, it's like kind of this like cute little moment. Like they're all saying hi. I think Jude is like with Slick, and one of Kelly's with Drew. Kim is with Nick, obviously. And then Kim goes off and she dances with her dad for like a hot second. And he's telling her like, sorry, you know, for missing her grand entrance. But her mom's been pretty upset just giving the day that it is, with Robin's death being 6 years prior.
Might I add that Kim is dancing kind of sexy?
I clocked that too, and I was like, why are you dancing like that with your dad? But maybe that's just how you danced back then. Sure. I don't know.
Also, this is is this a first dance kind of moment? Was this a thing?
No, I don't think so. I think they're just having a moment together.
Well, that's nice.
Then Wendy and Lou arrive, and this like prompts Kim and Nick to take center stage a little bit with a very tightly choreographed dance that earns lots of cheers and highlights their popularity overall. It's kind of like a let's show them what we got like type of thing. It was a very interesting thing to have in the film, but also like respect.
I mean, good for them for fucking dancing like that. That's amazing. But were choreographed dances a thing back then at prom, and it's giving me She's All That?
Ooh, yes, absolutely.
Or Not Another Teen Movie.
Oh my God. Yeah, if you want to go down that route.
And while they're dancing, I don't know what the name of the song is. It's a song that's saying like, prom night, everything is all right. Okay, maybe it's not all right. But also, speaking of the music of the film, they wanted to use licensed actual disco music, but that got denied. So they had to make up like most of their songs, which is kind of bitchin'.
Which ended up being fucking hits. People were like all about the soundtrack of this film after it came out, which like understandably so. It's fucking banging.
They were so banging. They were bomb. And again, I really wish my prom could be like this. And all of Kim's friends, all of Nick's friends gather in a circle cheering them on. And what a world to live in.
This is actually how I dance on a daily basis in the kitchen when I'm making dinner. So it's not very far off from the life that I live. You can ask the producer.
So we should put the disco dance floor in the kitchen.
Yes, absolutely.
Got it.
Absolutely. And I have a perfect spot right above where we're recording right now that could hold a disco ball.
Perfect. While this is all happening with Nick and Kim, Wendy and her misfits are looking like, oh, you guys, you about to get fucked.
I'm like, is pig blood coming? Like, is someone getting toilet papered? You know, I wonder what they have planned here. And at this point in the film is actually where we're going to start really seeing the like quote unquote killer start to kind of like take people off like one by one. So we start out first with a scene based kind of solely on Kelly. And what happens is like during a bathroom break at prom, Kim, Kelly, and some of the other girls are discussing how Drew, Kelly's boyfriend, is like ready to get it on with Kelly. And she's nervous, obviously.
Then that's completely natural. And I don't know why like sex after prom is like such a trope.
It really is. Yeah, it definitely is.
But Kelly is ironically wearing white.
Oh, very virginal.
Very virginal. And I love this girl gang bathroom scene. Like, I've made actual new best friends in random bathrooms before.
I think if you have not made friends with a girl in a bathroom, then like, how are you living your life?
Yeah.
You know?
Maybe you're the problem.
Maybe.
Just kidding. We love everyone.
Yeah. The rest of the girls leave the bathroom and Kelly just takes a second and like looks at herself in the mirror. And it's almost like she's like mentally preparing for what's to come. And so Kelly and Drew sneak off to like a secluded like room. I couldn't tell if this was like a part of the locker room or like.
Dude, it's a full on locker room.
Is it? Okay.
Ew. Why choose there?
Very weird.
Go to science wing. If you're trying to fuck in a locker room, you're trying to get staph infection too.
Ew. Absolutely.
This whole scene gave me the ick.
Yeah, because, I mean, he pressures her for sex, obviously. And they do get, like, hot and heavy for, like, a second, but then she changes her mind. And she says no several times, and he's just, like, not having it.
But good for you, girl. No means fucking no.
100%.
But in response to that, homeboy is like, okay, if you won't fuck me, I know plenty of people who will. And he bounces while she is still, like, topless.
So fucked up. So fucked up.
Like, imagine.
And we see boobs.
It's our first boobies in this movie. I think maybe our only boobies.
It might be our only boobies, I think. As Kelly redresses, the killer silently approaches her. And in this like very slow-mo kind of scene, and it's very dark, he grabs her and slashes her throat with glass. And he says, "Now, Kelly, now," in like a strong whisper. This scene is super brutal, but it is quick.
We don't really see like blood. We just see her eyes go out.
Yeah. And then we just like see her body's kind of like left slumped with like the cut in her neck.
And I feel bad because poor Kelly has been the obvious insecure one from the very beginning. But meanwhile, prom still be rocking in the gym.
Yeah, no one knows that any of this happened to her.
Also, fucking people need to lock the gym doors during dances if it's on site.
I know, like, come on, guys. You don't think people are sneaking off and like getting freaky? Come on.
Like, be smarter.
Back in the prom, Wendy is trying to talk to Nick again. And the whole situation, it's like the situation kind of escalates a little bit. And she gets a little bit upset.
And I feel a little bit of sympathy for Wendy. Maybe I shouldn't, but I keep saying I do. Wendy, you be mean, but you don't deserve a man to treat you like this. Like, who keeps like playing with your heart.
But is he?
I
feel like he's being kind of clear, but yeah, we're not really seeing all of his side of the conversation. So maybe he is kind of being a little, he's towing the line a little bit, maybe.
We don't know their breakup timeline and like.
That's true. That's true.
So, but also just Wendy, just, if he be treating you like that, fucking.
You deserve better, queen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And right outside the auditorium at the same time, Lieutenant McBride has actually been at the prom because he said it sort of like anticipating seeing Leonard Murch and that he may show up. And he's talking to his deputies explaining that it's super important that they find the killer. In another scene, we see Jude, and she's with her main man, Slick. And
I feel like this relationship developed very quickly.
I think they saw each other and said, "I fucking love you." And then now here we are.
Oh, soul connection.
Which I kind of love, actually, a little bit.
Yeah, like they like zinged.
Yeah,
like
they zinged. Oh my God, Hotel Transylvania. I
had that in my vows.
You did. I think I remember that. Cute. And so they're like hooking up in Slick's van, and they're parked near the bluff or the cliffside right outside prom.
It's like the Lover's Lane area.
It is a Lover's Lane area, 100%. They're talking about like maybe getting out of the van and doing it on the bluffs because they've kind of deduced that it's both of their first times and they've lost it to each other. And now they're just like, let's be bunnies and just like.
Wait, that makes me kind of sad that they're like instant lovers and now they're going to get fucked up.
Well, think of Romeo and Juliet.
Okay.
Yeah. That's all I could say. That's the only connection I could make.
I could see your brain trying to think of something.
And then as they try to like go and now like hook up at the bluffs, they're being watched and Slick hears something in the trees and it kind of freaks him out.
I want to know, okay, so if this is the supposed killer who was just at the dance, or excuse me, in the locker room at the dance, how did he get from point A to point B so fast? But then again, we could hear the bell ring at Lover's Lane.
It might be a lot closer to camp or to like the prom part of campus than we realize.
Yeah. But it's another case of, everything everywhere all at once. Good for him.
All at once.
Or
all
her.
at once.
Yeah.
So Slick is freaked out and he's like, let's go back in the van and let's have a joint, baby.
I think maybe if you're hearing weird noises, a joint is the worst idea. Or maybe it's the best idea.
Or maybe it's the best. Shoot.
And they do go inside of his van, and the inside of his van be looking like Club Inferno. And for those of you who don't know, Club Inferno was an 18 and up dance club in San Diego that was basically just all velvet.
I never went, but it sounded amazing.
You missed nothing.
I thought you were going to say you missed everything.
No. Memories were made. I lost probably like 2 phones there.
I thought you were going to say you lost something else, but at Club Inferno, baby.
Look it up.
As Jude and Slick are in the van and they're having their joint and about to do whatever they're doing, the killer opens up the back doors where Jude happens to be kind of like parked up next to. He quickly stabs Jude as she's like mid-flirtation with Slick, and it's so sad. But Slick, even though he's a little high, he fights back in a surprisingly intense struggle, and he punches the killer away and then kind of like starts driving the van with him hanging off the side.
During this altercation, we can see that the killer is also wearing a black ski mask similar to the one that Lou was wearing at the beginning in the cafeteria. However, the killer's mask, whoever they may be, is bedazzled or appears to be bedazzled.
I wouldn't say like bedazzled, but glittery.
Glittery, like it's like a mesh like silver black.
But I kind of love it.
Okay.
You don't like it? It's a glittery.
No, it's cute. I love glitter.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah. But I think they're trying to throw us off with like...
It's like, who is this fucking killer?
Yeah.
And as Slick speeds off recklessly with the killer, on the outside of his car, the killer finally gets inside and then they have another tussle. And the killer, though, is able to jump out just in time before the van tumbles over the edge of the bluff. And it's so sad and obviously kills Slick. And Jude's body is still inside.
How rude, because I was like, at the beginning, I was like, ew, Slick. And now I was like, oh, Slick.
I know. I feel like we've really come to love Slick.
It was a full, we did a full turnaround on his character.
Yeah. Back at prom, everyone is still having like an absolute blast dancing. And Wendy and Lou have a moment where they have like a little bit of a mini argument. And Wendy reminds him that she doesn't want anybody hurt. So it seems like she's like kind of questioning like, hey, what are you like planning to do? Because I don't want it to be anything like too intense. And then he tells her to stop telling him what to do.
I'm sorry to interrupt this broadcast, but I just looked where this was filmed. And these were, in fact, filmed on the Scarborough Bluffs in Toronto.
In the bluff.
In the bluff.
Oh, my God.
My bad. Wow. Back to our regularly scheduled programming.
Wendy then goes to the bathroom alone. And when she's there, the killer cuts the lights and ambushes her, trying to attack her with an axe this time, but he is unsuccessful. And what follows in this moment of the film is an extended but like pretty terrifying chase through locker rooms, empty classrooms, and like darkened like corridors throughout the campus. Wendy hides in several different places, kind of barely escaping. And I would argue that it's probably one of the most like suspenseful sequences in the film.
Which is not saying that much, but
yeah. And eventually, unfortunately, Wendy is cornered and killed, with the axe kind of making its first kill. And after this happens, Lieutenant McBride in another area right outside like the prom, where prom is actually being held, he gets a visit from one of the other detectives telling him that they caught Leonard Murch about 50 miles from here. And so they're presuming that all is well. But this, as like the viewer, as you're watching this is like the first time that we're realizing, okay, the killer actually is not that Leonard Murch guy. So like, who the fuck could it be?
So Mr. Sykes comes out and is clearly fucked up. And he's like, bro, there's a killer on the fucking loose. And what do I always say is maybe trust this sloppy drunk person who kind of looks wet.
Is that what you always say?
I do, actually.
In this case, yeah, they probably should have really listened to Mr. Sykes.
I really do always. I'm going to make a t-shirt with that on it.
Well, none of the staff takes him seriously because he's drunk. They're like, okay, whatever, we're going to get you out of here. It's like almost causing like a scene. So they're like trying to get him out of the prom area.
Question, is Mr. Sykes a little bit hot?
No.
Okay.
No. He reminds me of the guy in Scary Movie 2, David Cross's character, the one in the wheelchair. But that's like what Mr. Sykes in this film is giving me.
Not me. Yeah. Different vibes. Okay. But I'm a first girl and attracted to very strange things.
Hey, that's okay.
Yes.
That's okay. Right before Kim and Nick are about to be crowned, Lou and his goons discuss the plan that they have. And one of them asks, like one of the goons asks where Wendy is. And Lou doesn't care. He's like, if Wendy doesn't come back, then he'll take Kim all to himself, which like, that's fucking scary. Then Lou and his goons grab Nick before he can go on stage and they tie him up. And they're planning for Lou to actually go out in his place. And that's going to be like the big part of this prank. And it's going to freak Kim out.
LOL, jokes on him because as this happens, he gets his head fucking chopped off.
Yeah, so the killer, mistaking Lou for Nick, seizes the opportunity and swings the axe backstage before Nick, or Lou in this case, is about to go out there and decapitates him. In the most amazing scene ever, Lou's head actually rolls out onto the stage, out into the disco madness.
Honestly, kind of a vibe. That unibrow is just like dancing its little...
It really is.
Little eyebrow, singular, off.
The prom then erupts into like absolute chaos and screaming as everybody tries to flee the auditorium.
Yeah, and the lights are still vibing. So.
Yeah. It's a very weird juxtaposition.
Thank you. That was crisp as well.
Yay.
Can I try it? Juxtaposition.
You're doing great. You've been doing great,
Thank
girl.
you. I practice.
Kim then finds Nick tied up backstage and unties him. And as they try to flee, they run into the killer who tries to kill Nick.
I want to know, like, also this axe stuff. Like, when did an axe come into play?
That's what I mean. It's just kind of a random, like, this was the first time we saw it. And then that killer was like, you know what? I'm going to use an axe instead of a shard of a mirror.
Exactly. I'm like, what happened at the shard?
It's kind of random.
You're going off brand.
You are going off. Who are you?
Yeah.
Who are you even?
Clearly not in marketing.
Clearly. Kim and Nick fight back as much as they possibly can. Nick is actually a little bit injured. I forget how he gets injured, but like he hurts his leg or something. But Kim eventually grabs the axe and strikes the killer kind of in the face, like head area. And then wounded and dazed, the killer stumbles outside as Lieutenant McBride and the police arrive. And as McBride is just about to shoot the killer, Kim screams for him to stop.
Do we like know why?
Why what?
She's screaming for him to stop. Does she like already know?
I think she's already kind of realizing who the killer might be. In a twist ending here, Kim approaches the dying killer and pulls off his mask. And guess who it is? It's her brother, Alex. In a very heartbreaking flashback, we see Alex kind of rediscovering Robin's body back when she passed 6 years prior and kind of just like silently absorbing the trauma of his like twin sister passing.
As this is all happening, Kim is cradling her brother, but his injuries don't look that lethal or like...
I agree. I was like, okay, I think he might survive this.
Yeah, like let's call 911 maybe.
But then he kind of has a dramatic like death. It's very dramatic. He's just like...
Oh, nice. What the producer would say is it's a movie.
Yeah, it's a movie.
My question is, why wait 6 years to get your justice? Because it's on prom night?
There are, I think, 4 other prom night movies after this.
Oh,
so we may get those questions answered, later on.
Also, something of note, very not important, but did they have waterproof mascara back in 1979 when they filmed this?
I have no idea.
Because Jamie Lee Curtis's / Kim's
is not coming off.
No, it is coming off.
Oh, yeah. So then maybe not.
Ouch.
They didn't have that technology maybe at that time.
Yeah, so she's cradling her brother who's dying. And
And then Fiend.
And then Fiend.
That's like film over. Like nothing really happened. I mean, we don't know if he like died 100%. I mean, we can presume that he did. But yeah, that's like all we know. Mike's super short show.
But like not that super short.
True. What were your final thoughts?
I have like a bunch. Cute? Question mark?
Okay.
But there's a lot of other prom movies we can watch to get in the spirit of prom season, like Carrie or even Saturday Night Fever, because that's what this is giving. Even if I just wanted vibes and not the blood, I could watch Freaky Friday with Jamie Lee Curtis, you know? And hell, if you're in a mood for a prom movie, you can watch American Pie or Never Been Kissed or She's All That. And I definitely think that after watching this for the first time to cover this on our show, I think I liked the 2008 one better, but that might be because it's reminiscent of how our prom went.
I agree. I really like the one with Brittany Snow. I don't think that this one is necessarily terrible because I try to put myself into the shoes of someone watching it back then. And I mean, to my knowledge, at least, I don't think there were a lot of other prom night horror films besides Carrie. So I do think it was probably kind of cool as like a teenager to like, oh, there's like a horror movie about prom night. You know, it was probably like entertaining, but I don't think I'm looking at it to be this like amazing masterpiece of horror. You know what I mean?
For sure. I think it's just like a horny, like so many, and I love these kinds of films, but a horny horror film.
These are the three things that really sum it up for me. Ready?
Yes.
Bluffs. Jamie Lee Curtis just being hot and amazing per usual.
Love.
And then Disco Madness, baby.
That's your marketing campaign right there.
That should have been the tagline.
Honestly.
Did you think this film was scary at all?
If someone thinks this movie is scary, I feel bad for them.
I really do too.
So you didn't either?
No.
Okay.
God damn it, I didn't. But you know what scared me? Lou's unibrow.
Oh, for sure. Does he?
And the oil on his face. Somebody needs to get his T-zone taken care of, and he needs some blotting pads.
He for sure needs some blotting pads and to go to see like a facialist. He just needs a whole glow.
I think we could clean him up.
Yeah. He's not a lost cause.
No, not by any means. He's giving Fonzie energy. We just need to get him there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Minus like him being kind of a creepy dick.
Well, what was your favorite scene?
What was my favorite scene? I think speaking of Lou, I think Lou's head just rolling.
That was mine.
Okay. His head just like discoing out on the disco floor.
I'm so sorry, but there's nothing more brilliant than that. It was so good.
Yeah.
And for the time, it was amazing.
It
looked really good.
So this movie to me was kind of a slow burn. So that was like, it was fun to see it pick up, and like the head rolling on the floor was like sweet. Love it.
Such a good one. Loved it. Well, that, you guys, is Prom Night from 1980. You can find us on TikTok and Instagram at Spooky Chicks and Horror Flicks if you would like to follow along with all the fun stuff that we are doing. And if you want to get some bonus content, then you can join our Spooky Chicks Social Club on Patreon. And as always, if you wouldn't mind leaving us a 5-star review wherever it is that you listen. But the best way to support us is to just tell a friend who also loves horror. And just a reminder that we are going to be at Texas Frightmare Weekend, May 23rd through the 25th. We are so, so excited to see all of you that are going to be there. Please, please, please come and find us. And Allison, do you want to take us out?
I fucking do. Don't forget to wax your unibrow. Happy prom season, and stay spooky fuckers.